I never imagined a flimsy piece of paper could weigh more than an anchor. But that's exactly how it felt the day I bought the winning lottery ticket. It was raining, a dull Tuesday evening, and I had ducked into the convenience store on the corner, just to grab a pack of gum and a soda. The lottery machine blinked at me, daring me, and on a whim I slid a $10 bill across the counter. When the numbers came in that night, I stared at the television in disbelief. My ticket matched, all of it, $50 million. For a long time, I just sat there at the kitchen table, staring at the slip in my hand, feeling my pulse in my throat. My wife, Emma, was asleep upstairs. She had no idea that our lives had just been rewritten. But here's the thing. Instead of joy, what I felt most was resentment. We had been married for 12 years. 12 years of dinners eaten in silence, of arguments about bills, of her sharp sighs whenever I came home late. We weren't a team anymore, we were cellmates. And now fate had handed me a key to freedom. I looked at the ticket and whispered to myself, she doesn't have to know. The following days were chaos in my head. At work, I could barely concentrate. The numbers spinning in my mind like fireworks. 50 million, 50 million, 50 million. At home, I acted normal, mowed the lawn, ate dinner, kissed Emma goodnight. But the whole time, my chest burned with the secret. Late at night, when she was asleep, I sat at my computer and searched how to hide lottery winnings from a spouse. The answers weren't encouraging. Forums warned of fraud, of lawsuits, of losing everything in court. But others hinted at loopholes, trust funds, quick divorces, asset shelters. I felt like a criminal already, and yet the thought of sharing that money with Emma made me sick. She'd squander it, I told myself. She'd chain me to a life I no longer wanted. I deserved this. I had worked all my life, and this was my chance to finally live. A week later, I drove 2 hours out of town to meet with a lawyer. His office was small, dimly lit, the kind of place that reeked of secrecy. He studied the ticket carefully, then leaned back in his chair. You bought this during your marriage? Yes. Then legally, it's marital property. She has a claim to half, maybe more. I clenched my fists. What if she doesn't know? The lawyer raised an eyebrow. If you file for divorce before claiming the prize, you could argue it as separate property. But if she ever finds out, he shook his head. Courts hate deception. They'll punish it. I'll take that risk, I said, my voice hoarse. He gave me a long look, then slid a contract across the desk. I can help you set up a trust, quietly, but you're walking on glass. Mr. Collins. That night, I came home to Emma watching television in her robe, a glass of wine in her hand. She looked up at me, weary. You've been distracted lately, she said. Is something wrong? I forced a smile. Work's just stressful. She shrugged, turned back to the screen. That was us now, two ghosts sharing the same space. And I thought, she won't even notice when I'm gone. 2 weeks later, I filed for divorce. Emma stared at the papers in disbelief. You're leaving me. It's not working anymore, I said flatly. Her eyes filled with tears. David, we've been together 12 years. After everything, this is it. I swallowed hard, forcing steel into my voice. I'm sorry. I didn't tell her that $50 million sat in a bank account under my control. That the ticket had already been cashed, the money hidden in a trust. That I had already planned a new life without her. The divorce was swift, quiet. No drawn-out battles, no fiery arguments. Just signatures on paper, the clean slice of a blade through the knot of our marriage. She moved into a small apartment across town. I stayed in the house until the penthouse I bought downtown was ready. And then for the first time in my life I felt free. Money has a way of turning the world soft around you. I bought suits tailored to my frame, drank wine that tasted like silk, drove cars that purred instead of rattled. I traveled to Paris, to Tokyo, to islands where the sand glowed white under the sun. I told people I had made a good investment. They nodded, impressed. At night, I looked out at the city skyline from my penthouse window, glass of scotch in hand, and thought, I did it. I really did it. Emma faded from my mind, her tears dissolving like mist. But secrets are like cracks in a dam. Eventually, water finds a way through. One Saturday afternoon, Emma stopped by our old house to pick up a package that had mistakenly been delivered there. She checked the mailbox, riffled through the stack, and found a letter addressed to me. She tore it open without thinking. It was a statement from the Lottery Commission. Her eyes widened. $50 million. Winner, David Collins. Date of disbursement, 1 week before he filed for divorce. Her hands shook, her vision blurred. The man she had shared 12 years of her life with, the man she had once trusted completely, he had cut her out of everything. Emma didn't call me. She didn't scream. She walked straight to a lawyer's office. The first I knew of it was when I landed in Las Vegas for a weekend of excess. I turned on my phone and saw the notification. You've been served. Court papers. Petition for judgment. Failure to disclose marital assets. My stomach dropped. I called my lawyer immediately. His voice was grim. David, if she proves you purchased the ticket during the marriage, you could lose everything. Judges don't like lies. She can't take it all, I insisted. He sighed. Prepare yourself. This won't end the way you think. The weeks that followed were a blur of dread. Emma's lawyers dug deep. They subpoenaed bank records, traced the trust, pulled receipts. Every secret move I'd made was dragged into the light. The press caught wind. Headlines screamed. The lottery divorce scandal. Photographers camped outside my building. My name was dragged through talk shows, podcasts, tabloids, and Emma Sweet. Quiet Emma was cast as the betrayed wife. The woman wronged. The symbol of truth against greed. Meanwhile, I was painted as a villain. And for the first time, I started to wonder if that was exactly what I had become. Courtrooms are colder than any winter. The air is heavy, thick with judgment, and every cough or shuffle echoes like thunder. I sat at the defendant's table, my suit pressed, my tie choking me, while Emma sat across the aisle. She looked different, stronger. Her lawyer whispered in her ear, and she nodded, calm but resolute. She didn't look at me. That cut deeper than any glare could have. The judge entered, and the trial began. Emma's lawyer rose first. He spoke with the smooth precision of a blade. Your Honor, the facts are clear. David Collins purchased a winning lottery ticket during his marriage to Emma Collins. Within days, he filed for divorce, deliberately concealing $50 million from his spouse. This is fraud. Not just legal fraud, but moral fraud. He deprived my client of her rightful share, betraying 12 years of partnership. He held up the lottery statement, the bank transfers, the timeline. Each piece of evidence fell like a hammer. My lawyer countered, but even I could hear the weakness in his voice. Yes, Mr. Collins purchased the ticket while married, but the marriage was already broken. He acted out of fear, out of a desire for freedom, not malice. The money was meant to give him a new start. The judge frowned. A new start does not absolve dishonesty. When I was called to the stand, my hands trembled as I swore the oath. I tried to steady my voice. I didn't mean to hurt her, I said. I thought if I told her, she'd take everything. I just wanted something of my own. Emma's lawyer pounced. Something of your own. After 12 years of marriage. After she stood by you through debt, through illness, through every storm. You thought hiding $50 million was fair. I opened my mouth, but no words came. The silence was worse than any confession. The trial dragged for weeks. Reporters filled the seats. Headlines screamed daily updates. Strangers debated my life on television panels. Is David Collins the greediest man alive? One headline asked. Every night, I returned to my penthouse. Once a symbol of victory, now a gilded cage. I drank too much. I paced. I stared at the city lights and felt the walls close in. Emma, meanwhile, walked into court each day with quiet dignity. She didn't rant, didn't rage. She simply stood as the truth unfolded. And the truth was enough. The final day arrived. The judge's voice was calm but merciless. This court finds that David Collins deliberately concealed marital assets, violating his duty of disclosure. His conduct constitutes fraud upon the court and upon his spouse. Therefore, the entire sum of $50 million shall be awarded to Emma Collins. The gavel struck. The sound echoed in my chest like a death knell. I didn't cry. Not there. Not in front of the cameras waiting outside. Not in front of Emma, who walked past me with steady steps. She didn't gloat. She didn't even glance at me. That hurt most of all. But when I returned to my penthouse and opened my bank account, when I saw zero staring back at me, I laughed. A hollow, broken laugh. I had gone from nothing to everything to nothing again, and all because I thought I was clever. The aftermath was worse than the trial. Friends vanished. Strangers spat on the street. Job offers disappeared. My name became synonymous with betrayal. Podcasts used me as a cautionary tale. Late-night comedians turned me into a punchline. Emma, on the other hand, thrived. She moved into a beautiful house, started charities, spoke about honesty and betrayal. She became a symbol of resilience. And me, I shrank. I sold the penthouse, the cars, the suits. I rented a small apartment in a part of town where nobody recognized me. I worked odd jobs, kept my head down, tried to disappear. But at night, the silence returned. The memory of that ticket haunted me. I dreamed of holding it again, of choosing differently. In some dreams, I told Emma the truth, and we laughed and cried and built a new life together. In others, I tore the ticket in half and the money vanished before it could poison us. But in reality, I chose lies. And lies consume everything. Months later, I saw Emma one last time. It was in a bookstore, of all places. She was at the counter, buying novels, her hair shining in the light. She looked happy, truly happy. I froze. My chest ached. I almost walked up to her, almost said, "I'm sorry. I was stupid. I ruined everything." But I didn't. She turned, saw me, and for the briefest moment, our eyes met. She nodded once, not with anger, not with triumph, but with a quiet finality that said, "We are done." And then she walked away. Now, when I think about that ticket, I don't see $50 million. I see a mirror that showed me who I truly was when temptation whispered in my ear. I thought money would buy me freedom. Instead, it revealed my chains. So I'll ask you, the listener, if your partner secretly won millions and hid it from you, only to be exposed in court, what would you do? Would you fight for the money or would you walk away forever, knowing trust was already gone?
Crazy, right? Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.